Welcome back to another YouTube video, and today I'm going to be showing you guys by popular demand how I get more lead generation clients and also SEO clients. This same process can be applied to both. And basically I'm going to be breaking down every single step. Now I'm going to be using the UK as an example in this video. However, if you guys are in Canada, Australia, America, UK, all very similar process. Nothing really changes apart from the actual location. So let's get started. Now, first of all, what we would essentially be wanting to do is, I'm going to assume that you guys have a niche, but let's say you guys don't, right? Let's say you want to essentially reach out to, or you might not even have a website just yet, but you might want to be reaching out to, for example, let's use law firms in, let's do Leeds, right? So Leeds is a fairly medium-sized town in the UK. I'll get the population for Leeds. Leeds population 792,000. I mean, it's nowhere near as some of the it's nowhere near as big as some of the massive towns in America, but obviously it's quite big in the UK. So law firms in Leeds, right? As we can see, we've got the free pack here. I'm going to be showing you guys various different strategies, right? So strategy number one would be to essentially go down the map pack, and let's say, for example, obviously you've got SCE Solicitors, ABR Solicitors, and Harewood Law, right? So for anybody that is searching law firms in Leeds, these three guys are probably going to get a lot of the inquiries, right? So you probably don't want to essentially reach out to these because they already have a decent amount of inquiries. And not only that, they also have a decent amount of reviews as well, which is a good indication that they are consistently getting inquiries, right? However, if we were to scroll down, so let's say, for example, these guys here, they're nowhere near the top three, the map pack, some people call it. So potentially you could reach out to these guys and you could just hit them up. Now, one thing I will say about lawyers in the UK is some of them, like this company, for example, they have got multiple offices. The guys that typically have multiple offices like these, they're going to have an in-house marketing team. So from a prospecting point of view, would they want more lead generation services or potentially SEO services? Maybe not, right? So it might not be beneficial to reach out to these guys, right? So always just bear that in mind when you are trying to create a prospecting list. These guys probably won't want some SEO services or potentially even lead generation services, right? So just bear that in mind when you are creating your list. Whereas, for example, if we were to keep going down the list, who are these guys? Again, these guys have got a lot of different offices, right? So again, you could reach out to them, but they're probably going to have their own in-house marketing team. So unless you're potentially pitching for consultancy, they might not want your services. Let's just keep working down this list. These guys, so this is a really good example, right? So this video could be applied to anything. If you guys are even web developers watching this is a prime example of a company that I would be reaching out to for both SEO and also a web design. This website looks like it's older than me. So for example, this website here, I would be looking to essentially reach out to. I don't do anything fancy when it comes to reaching out to people. I typically go to their contact page, and what I will be doing is essentially just reaching out to either their contact form if they have one. This website's so old it doesn't even have a contact form. So I would just essentially email any of these guys saying, hey, would you guys be interested in SEO services or potentially a web design? Now, one thing I will say, and I'll move into this a little bit further down the video, these guys will be getting hammered by every single person for SEO, for link building, for whatever else. So you need to make your pitch stand out. Don't just go in with the typical, hey, you're in position 15, I can get you to position 2. They've heard it all before, right? So you're going to need to think of a different ideation for your pitch, or for your subject and also for your email as well. So just bear that in mind when you are reaching out to these guys. Again, they don't even have an SSL, so it just goes to show you that these guys are massively behind, to say the least. Another example would be to try and find these guys over on LinkedIn and reach out to them that way as well. You can just search up Jay Delaney and try and find members of their workforce over on LinkedIn. You can potentially pitch them that way as well. Again, it's a little bit less spammy than emails. Just bear that in mind. You want to come across as a helping hand, not as a salesperson. Even though your end goal is to get money from them, that's essentially what you want to be doing. So let's just take a look at some more law firms, right? LCF Law. These guys, contact us. Yeah, these guys, again, they've got big offices. So they've got 4 offices. Again, I probably wouldn't reach out to these guys. I'm also, in the back of my head, I'm thinking, like, first of all, numbers of people, like how many law firms I can contact. Because again, doing this strategy ain't going to be, oh, I'm going to send 2 emails and I'm going to get 2 clients. You're probably going to need to send about 200 or fill out 200 contact forms to maybe get 1 client. It's not going to be easy by any means, but it's the cheapest form of essentially getting presented to managing directors, owners of companies. If you don't want to be spending money on ads, then this is what I would highly recommend you guys do. So let's do a little bit more digging, right? Let's take a look at these guys. So these guys, it's an odd one, this. They have 100 reviews, but they're fairly low down in the map pack. So again, you could potentially come in. So they've got a fairly decent website. It looks like they are targeting everything from an SEO point of view. Would I reach out to them? I probably would. Potentially they might not want SEO services, but you could offer them lead generation services. So that's always a plus. What I would be looking to do now is just filling out this contact form. They do have 2 offices, but again, it's not a bad thing. They're nowhere near as massive as some of the guys with 6, 7 different offices. They might not even have a marketing agency, right? Their website looks nice, don't get me wrong, but it can definitely be improved. Again, what you could also do is look at the team. So they've got a head of family law department, managing partner. Doesn't look like they have anybody in marketing, which is a very good thing. So again, this is a really good thing about the Meet the Team page as well, because you can very quickly see, so they've got managing partner, head of immigration law, head of criminal defense, partner, solicitor, paralegals, admin assistant. They don't have anyone in marketing. You could definitely come in and essentially help them out with potentially even the SEO for that website. Let's take a look at a few more in the UK and then we'll swap over. Again, this is another prime example. These guys would want potentially a web redesign and also SEO as well. And again, lead generation as well if you were pitching them. So that's the kind of the mindset or the mind process that you guys need to be in. So again, if they're a massive enterprise, they might not want SEO, but they might want consultancy. So just bear that in mind. Not everybody would want your service. Now let's take a look at a couple other services, right? Let's do this for America. We'll do Chiropractor in Miami, right? So that was one example that I showed you guys where it's the Google Map Pack style. Another example is if we were to, for example, go to page 2, thejoint.com, right? Let's take a look and see who are these guys. So this looks like not the type of website that we're looking for. Downtown Miami Chiropractor, right? Again, this looks like a lead generation website, and I'll tell you the reason why I know that. It's an exact match domain, and this is just a stock image, so I probably wouldn't contact these guys. Let's take a look at a couple more. Miami Chiropractors, these guys, Fisher Chiropractor Center, right? So a very easy pitch to these guys would be like, hey, you guys are in position 14 or wherever they are. Would you want a SEO audit? Potentially what you might want to do is search how many searches chiropractors in Miami gets and say, look, you're missing out on all this potential traffic. We can help you get up there. Let's hop on a call. The thing is, when you're contacting these guys, what you guys need to bear in mind, if you're pitching SEO, if you're pitching web redesign, if you're pitching anything, you're talking to business owners, you're not talking to SEOs, right? So you need to be speaking numbers, right? So for example, if chiropractors in Miami gets 1,000 searches a month, or even let's say 100 searches a month, what you want to be doing when you reach or when you contact these guys is saying, hey, right now you aren't getting any clicks. Let's say, for example, if you were position 1, you would be getting, let's say, out of the 100 searches a month, it might be 50 new clients. 50 new clients looks like, I don't know, $5,000, however much they charge, right? As soon as you start speaking numbers to managing directors and business owners, they'll be like, yeah, let's do SEO. If you're talking about backlinks, if you're talking about the amount of articles they need, that's not going to get you anywhere. You might be able to sell to somebody like me, but I am not your target audience. A managing director or a business owner is your target audience. So just bear that in mind when you are crafting your email as well. So this is another strategy that you guys can do. This is like the page 2 strategy that I like to call. Now I'm going to be showing you guys the PPC strategy, right? So the PPC strategy, let's take a look at something else. Let's take a look at Plumbers in Wyoming. I've definitely misspelled Wyoming, but there we go. So anybody that's running PPC, you could essentially just click on their ad. That might annoy a couple business owners, but basically what we're trying to do is find the contact information of this website and then pitching them SEO, because the interesting part about this strategy is if they are running PPC, first of all, they understand the power of marketing. So if you were to reach out to them saying, hey, I can see that you're running PPC. Have you ever thought about also running SEO alongside it? You don't need to switch off your PPC, but you can do both and then you're covering both bases. Potentially with this scenario, if you are pitching them, just bear in mind, not everybody clicks the PPC ad spot. I personally don't sometimes, because I know that the SEO organic listing here is going to be a little bit more higher quality, because they've actually took some time and effort to rank this as opposed to just paying for PPC. So you could just do this for Plumbers in Wyoming and obviously just mention what I've just said in this video. So you can just do, let's take a look here. We've got plumbers in, because of my location, I'm obviously in the UK, I'm getting UK plumbers when I have searched for plumbers in Wyoming, but it's a very, very similar process. It doesn't matter where whereabouts you're located. So just bear that in mind when you are doing the PPC scenario. Mention on the email, hey, not everybody clicks on the PPC, more people are clicking on organic. Have you ever thought about doing organic, for example, right? That's another strategy. And the very last strategy that I also want to show you guys is the Yellow strategy, right? So if we go to Yellow Pages, I believe it's called Yell in America. I could be wrong in saying that. What's it called in America? I think it might be Yelp. Yelp, right? So these two, I don't know if they're owned by a similar company or the same company, but very, very similar strategy, right? So let's do London and let's take a look at let's take a look at wall rendering companies in London, right? So as you can see here, for anybody that doesn't know what wall rendering is, first of all, it's essentially like people that do like the plastering of walls. It just makes it a smoother finish. Some houses need it. Sometimes you can also do it on the outside of your house as well. So that's what you guys know as wall rendering, right? So as you can see here, with these companies, Mark Anthony, if you look here, very light, it says sponsored, right? So for example, these guys, they're essentially paying Yale to get sponsored or to get placed higher up when somebody searches wall rendering. Now, a lot of these companies are paying anything from, let's say, £100 a month to potentially $5-6 grand a year, right? So like anything from like 100 to a few hundred, like 400 or 500 a month to be positioned for this keyword. Now, as an SEO and also as a lead generation company, you know for a fact Yale isn't it's not even like the highest, it's not a good search engine, let's call it that, right? So they're essentially wasting their money. So with these guys, if you're going to pitch to these people, what I would be looking to do is saying like, hey, I can see that you are paying a premium for a sponsored listing on Yale. I just want to know how many inquiries you guys are getting. Because, for example, if you guys are spending $6 grand, are you guys getting £6,000 worth of inquiries from Yale? 98% or 99% of the time, they're probably not. I know this because this is a very good strategy that I have used in the past. This is probably one of my go-to strategies when it comes to acquiring clients. Because again, a lot of the times business owners, as soon as you say that to them, it's numbers, right? So they're going to be like, actually, I don't know how many inquiries I've had from Yale. They're going to start doing a little bit of digging. They're going to come back to you and say, hey, Tom, or hey, Kaz, you're actually right. We've been spending, let's say, 12 grand over the past 2 years, so $6 grand a year. We've not had a single inquiry. What can you do? Because you were the first person to prompt that to them, they're going to essentially come back to you and essentially try and like, you can then pitch them lead generation. You could pitch, like these guys, you could probably pitch a new website as well, right? So that's what I would be doing if I was setting up a new lead generation or even an SEO agency. I've just shown you guys 3 or 4 different methods. I've shown you guys the PPC method, the PPC method, the Yell method, which is this, the Google page 2 method, which is finding people that's on page 2 for a competitive keyword and reaching out to them, and the Google My Business method. So 4 methods that you guys have to your knowledge now. So you guys can essentially set up your own SEO agency just by following this. Now again, I can't stress the fact that it's not going to be easy. You guys are probably going to need to send out a couple hundred emails or a couple hundred website form inquiries. And essentially you will able to get some bookings from that there. But yeah, that has been my video on how I do essentially acquiring clients for lead generation, also for SEO. If you guys do have any questions, feel free to drop them down below. And if you guys want any help with growing your website's SEO and organic traffic, make sure to check out kazradash.com and you guys can book me out for a free 15-minute strategy call. Thanks.